Hello children, how are you? Again we are here to see another module of our chapter Laws of Motion. All you are happy? Yes sir. Ready? Yes sir. So come, in our last module we have seen Newton's laws of motion. First laws of motion we have done. Now today we are going to see Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion. This we are going to see here. Let us see Newton's second law of motion. Now, dear children, in the first law of motion, we have seen laws of inertia, types of inertia. Now here, in the second law of motion, what is that? According to the Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of linear momentum, the rate of change of linear momentum, the rate of change of linear momentum of a body is directly proportional to is directly proportional to the external force applied on the body, directly proportional to the external force applied on the body, and this change takes place, always in the direction of applied force, applied force. Write down, dear children, then we are going to explain here what is that. Write down here. Now, we are going to explain this Newton's second law of motion. How can we explain this? For that I am taking here, suppose two bodies of different mass. Suppose one body is this one, another body is this one, say of mass m1 and say of mass m2. They both are initially at rest. One is heavier and another one is lighter. What will happen? A fixed force is applied to both of them. Suppose fixed force is applied on both of them for a certain interval of time. कुछ समय के लिए दोनों पर एक ही फोर्स लगाया गया है. Same force is applied here. Suppose like this. To start with, the lighter body picks a greater speed. This is the lighter body picks a greater speed than the heavier body. However, initially it picks a greater speed. It is a slower speed. However, at the end of the time interval, what are the observations made? Observation shows that each body acquires the same linear momentum, either lighter or heavier. Is that clear? It means that the same force applied for the same time causes the same change in momentum in bodies of different mass. Is it clear? You can take this activity very easily at your home. So, this law, Newton's second law, implies that when a bigger force is applied on a body of given mass, when a bigger force is applied on a body of given mass, then its linear momentum change faster and vice versa, we can say. So momentum will change in the direction of applied force. Momentum will change. The important thing is momentum will change in the direction of force. In the direction of force. So, how to understand? Suppose we are going to see m is the mass of the body. Further, I want to explain this. So, I can see, dear children, m is the mass of the body. M is the mass of the body. V is the velocity of the body. V is the velocity of the body. Velocity of the body. Mass we know. V we know. Then we can say what is the linear momentum here? So linear momentum is equal to product of mass into velocity. So linear momentum of the body, linear momentum of a body, P. Linear momentum of a body is equal to P is equal to M into V. Let F be the external force applied on the body in the direction of motion of the body. If the body is moving in this direction, we are applying a force. F is the applied force. F is the applied force. When you are applying a force, delta P is a small change in the linear momentum of the body, change in the linear momentum of a body in a time delta t. So what will be the rate of change of linear momentum? Rate of change of linear momentum of a body. Rate of change of linear momentum of a body, that is equal to delta of P divided by delta of T. This is the rate of change of linear momentum of a body. Then according to the Newton's second law, then I can say, according to the Newton's second law, delta P divided by delta T is proportional to applied force. Or I can say F is proportional to delta of P divided by delta of T. This is that. So F is proportional to delta P by delta T. The constant of proportionality here is K. The constant of proportionality here is K. What is K? Sir, K is constant of proportionality. This we can write. Taking a limit, say delta t is tending to 0. The term delta p by delta t becomes the derivative or differential coefficient of p with respect to time. So it is denoted by dp by dt also when delta t is tending to 0. So I can write it is the differential coefficient of p with respect to time. So I can write here F is equal to K dP by dt here. So now what is P? P we know very well, children, from our earlier equation, mv. Put this value here, d by dt of P की जगह रखिए mv. Yeah. We may take m out from the differentiation because it is a constant. dv divided by dt k m a here. dv by dt is acceleration, rate of change of velocity. dv by dt I can write it is acceleration of the body. Then the value of constant of proportionality depends on the units adapted for measuring the force. The value of K depends on the value of units adapted for measuring the force. Both in SI system and CGS system. SI means Standard International. The unit force is selected in such a manner that the value of K is equal to 1. The value of K is equal to 1. So putting these values of K here, I can write F is equal to MA. So this is force. Is that clear? What is the dimension and unit of force? The dimensional formula for force M1 L1 T minus 2 that we have seen in the first unit. F is equal to the dimensional formula is M1 L1 T minus 2. The unit of force is Newton. One unit also we know dyne. That is 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to the power 5 dyne. That we have seen. One more unit of force is the gravitational unit. The gravitational unit of force on SI system is 1 kilogram weight. 1 kilogram weight. That I can write 1 kg weight here. This is the gravitational unit. Or I can say 1 kilogram force. It is that much force which produces an acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square in a body of mass 1 kg. In a body of mass 1 kg, I can write 1 kg weight or 1 kilogram force is equal to 1 kg into 9.8 meter per second square. So I can write here 9.8 Newton. This is the unit. Is that clear? So write down, children. Now, so these are the different unit of force. Here it is Newton, dyne, kilogram weight, like this. Now, dear children, we are going to see here a small numerical, that is a constant force. Write down a numerical here. We are going to see a very small numerical related to this. A constant force acting on a body of mass 3 kg. Suppose here is a body of mass 3 kg and a constant force F is applied over here. It changes its speed from 2 meter per second to 3.5 meter per second. Initial speed ये, final speed ये. In 25 seconds. In 25 seconds. The direction of motion of the body remains unchanged. Body is going in this direction. Direction of the body is same. Calculate the magnitude and direction of the force. Calculate the magnitude and direction of the force. Now let us see here how we will do. What are the things given? First write down M is equal to 3 kg. Initial speed 2 meter per second. Final speed 3 meter per second. Time is equal to 25 seconds. Force is equal to निकालना है. Our formula is force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration, rate of change of time, that is v minus u upon t. So I can write 3.5 minus 2 divided by 25. 3 into 1.5 divided by 25. Solve it, you will get the answer 0.18 Newton. This is the answer here. So it's a very simple numerical. How to perform the numerical? Let us see here. Now, we are going to see one small article. What is impulse and what is impulse momentum theorem? What do you mean by impulse? The force which acts on the bodies for a short interval of time. Suppose Virat Kohli hits the cricket ball and ball went for 6. So as soon as the ball comes towards the bat of Virat Kohli hit. For a moment he applied a force, but the ball went for 6. It covers a longer distance. So force into small interval of time is called impulse. Is that clear? So the force which acts on the body for a shorter period of time, the force which acts on the body for short time is called impulsive force. I just gave an example in hitting a ball with a bat by Virat Kohli. In driving a nail into a wooden block with an hammer. We are driving a nail inside this blackboard. Or I can say in firing a gun. All are the examples of impulsive force. Now, an impulsive force does not remain constant. An impulsive force does not remain constant but changes first from 0 to maximum. It changes from 0 to maximum and then from maximum to 0. Thus, it is not possible to measure easily the value of impulsive force because it changes with time. So in such cases, we measure the total effect of the force. total effect of the force. This is called impulse. Is that clear? इतना जल्दी होता है हम इसको मेजर नहीं कर पाते हैं. So what we measure? The total effect of the force, sir. How it is? Let us see. Hence impulse of a force, तो लिखिए hence impulse of a force is measure of total effect of force. Impulse of a force is measure the total effect of the force. It is given by the product of force. It is given by the product of force. It is given by the product of force and the time for which the force acts on the body. The time for which force acts on the body. Is it clear? समझ में आ गया? Now I am going to see. So impulse is equal to force into time. Write down impulse is equal to force into time. Write down impulse is equal to force into time. Okay? So according to the Newton's second law of motion, I know that F is proportional to F is equal to perfect differentiation dP by dt. We know very well. So I can write here F dt is equal to dP. Here. Integrating both the side. Integrating both the side. We know integration sign is F here. F dt is equal to integration of dP. Suppose the initial time is 0, final time is t. It is called lower limit, it is called upper limit. Suppose the initial momentum is P1 and the final momentum is P2. It is called lower limit, it is called upper limit. So P1 is the initial linear momentum. P1 is the initial linear momentum at the time t is equal to 0. P2 is the final linear momentum at the time t. If F of average is the constant force during this time. So this is constant, so we may take out F of average. Integration of 1 dt. Integration of 1 dx is equal to x. F बाहर आ गया तो integration of 0 to t dt. Similarly, integration of P1, P2, dP. Now, integrate it. So I can write here F of average integration of dt is t with the limit 0 to t, or integration of time is p with the limit p1 to p2. Open the limit, that is t minus 0. Here open the limit p2 minus p1, upper limit minus lower limit. Here is p2 minus p1. So F of average into time is equal to p2 minus p1. This is impulse I. This is called impulse momentum theorem. So impulse of a force, which is the product of average force during impact, during the time, during impact and the time for which the impact lasts. So I can say it is measured by the total change in the linear momentum produced during the impact. Total change in the linear momentum during the impact. It is called impulse momentum theorem. It is called impulse momentum theorem. It is clear? Impulse is a vector quantity. Impulse is a vector quantity. The direction of impulse is same as that of the direction of force. The dimensional formula here, m1 L1 T minus 1. So dear children, write down. So today our module is complete. In the next module we have to see the applications of concept of impulse, then Newton's third law of motion, and we will continue our module.